Many dog owners notice their dog staring at them and assume the animal simply wants food or attention. In reality, dog psychology suggests that a dog's stare often carries much deeper meaning. Dogs evolved to live closely with humans, which means they constantly observe human behavior. This observation helps them understand emotions, intentions, and changes in their environment. When a dog stares at its owner, it is often gathering information. The dog is studying posture, tone, and emotional signals to interpret what might happen next. Humans rely heavily on words to communicate, but dogs rely on visual signals. Because of this, watching human behavior becomes one of the dog's most important skills. A stare from a dog is rarely random. It is usually a quiet moment of observation where the dog is trying to understand something about its owner. Sometimes the stare simply means the dog is waiting for direction. Dogs naturally look toward trusted individuals when they expect guidance or interaction. This behavior reflects the cooperative history between dogs and humans. For thousands of years, dogs survived by paying close attention to human signals. Another reason dogs stare is emotional connection. Research into canine behavior shows that eye contact between dogs and humans can strengthen social bonds. When a dog looks calmly into its owner's eyes, both the dog and the human can experience increased oxytocin levels. Oxytocin is the same hormone associated with bonding in human relationships. In this sense, a dog's stare can be similar to a human expression of affection. It is a quiet way of reinforcing the connection between members of the social group. However, not every stare carries the same meaning. The emotional context surrounding the stare often determines what the dog is communicating. A relaxed stare with soft eyes usually signals comfort and trust. The dog feels safe enough to maintain eye contact without anxiety. A tense stare, however, may indicate uncertainty or alertness. In these moments, the dog is carefully watching the environment for potential changes. Dogs also stare when they are trying to predict behavior. They may be waiting for a walk, expecting food, or anticipating a familiar routine. Because dogs thrive on predictability, watching their owner helps them understand when those events might occur. The stare becomes part of the dog's strategy for reading the environment. Some dogs also stare when they sense emotional shifts in their owners. Dogs are extremely sensitive to tone, facial expressions, and body language. If an owner feels stressed or distracted, the dog may watch closely to interpret the change. Observation allows the dog to adjust its own behavior accordingly. Dogs are also capable of learning patterns through observation. Over time, they begin recognizing subtle cues that humans may not even realize they are giving. For example, a dog might notice small movements that usually happen before a walk or feeding time. Watching carefully helps the dog predict what will happen next. In dog psychology, this ability is often described as social intelligence. Dogs are constantly gathering information about the people they live with. Another reason dogs stare involves emotional reassurance. When a dog looks toward its owner in unfamiliar situations, it is often seeking confirmation that everything is safe. This behavior is similar to how children look toward parents when encountering something new. The dog uses the owner's reaction as guidance for how to respond. If the owner remains calm, the dog usually relaxes as well. If the owner appears tense or uncertain, the dog may become more alert. This constant exchange of emotional signals is part of the deep bond between dogs and humans. Dogs rely on these signals to navigate the world. Some dogs stare simply because they enjoy the presence of their owner. Quiet observation can be a sign that the dog feels comfortable and secure. Dogs are social animals that naturally remain aware of members of their group. Watching their owner is a way of maintaining connection. In multi-person households, dogs often stare more at the person they feel most bonded to. This reflects how dogs prioritize relationships within their social group. Observation also helps dogs understand how humans interact with others. Dogs notice patterns in human behavior that influence how they respond. For instance, a dog may watch how its owner greets visitors. Over time, the dog learns whether strangers should be treated with curiosity or caution. Dogs are constantly learning from these observations. The stare becomes part of the dog's way of studying the social environment. Seamless extension too. Sometimes a dog's stare is linked to anticipation. Dogs quickly learn that watching their owner closely often leads to interaction. If staring has previously resulted in attention, play, or food, the dog may repeat the behavior. This is a simple example of learning through experience. Dogs are extremely good at recognizing cause and effect. When a certain behavior produces a result, they tend to repeat it. However, staring can also appear during moments of uncertainty. If a dog senses something unusual, it may look toward the owner for guidance. The dog is essentially asking a silent question. Is this situation safe, or should I be cautious? In these moments, the owner's reaction becomes very important. Calm behavior reassures the dog that the environment remains stable. Over time, dogs learn to interpret the emotional signals their owners display. These signals become part of the dog's decision-making process. Because of this, the relationship between dog and owner becomes a constant exchange of observation and response. Both individuals influence each other's behavior. Dogs that trust their owners deeply tend to maintain longer eye contact. Trust allows them to relax while observing the person they depend on. It is important to recognize that staring is not always about dominance or challenge. Many myths about dog behavior have exaggerated the meaning of eye contact. In reality, most dog stares are simply part of normal communication. The dog is observing, learning, and interpreting the situation. Understanding this behavior helps owners respond more appropriately. Instead of assuming something is wrong, they can recognize the dog's curiosity and awareness. Observation is one of the most powerful tools dogs possess. It allows them to adapt quickly to human environments. This ability is one reason dogs have become such successful companions to humans. Few animals can read human behavior as effectively as dogs. When a dog stares at its owner, it is often participating in this remarkable form of communication. The dog is learning about the person it trusts most. In dog psychology, attention is a sign of connection. The dog chooses to focus on the person who matters most in its social world. Every stare reflects a moment of awareness between dog and human. The dog is observing, interpreting, and responding. These quiet moments are easy to overlook, yet they reveal how deeply dogs study human behavior. Observation is how dogs understand the people they live with. And sometimes, when a dog stares at you calmly, it may simply mean one thing. You are the most important part of its world.